guys. I'm JR. I'm the manager of Myopic. Thanks a lot for coming. We don't do readings like this very often. There's only been two that I know of. One was Dennis Johnson, and one is this guy. And Dennis Johnson won the National Book Award. So that's pretty good company. And a Pulitzer.
Well, I was happy. I ate at Manny's this afternoon, and the guy that makes my pastrami sandwich bought a copy. So
cool.
I'm quite happy with that. You know.
Dmitry, if you don't know about what he does, he is a cab driver by night. By day, he's a painter, and he writes a blog, and now he's published his first book on the University of Chicago Press. Obviously, we've got signed copies here for sale. You can get them. Thank you all for coming. This is Dmitry.
All right. Well, I guess I'll just read a few short pieces from the book, and you know, if anybody has questions or just wants to buy a book or is done, just let me know. Just do that. Okay. The first one's called 18 Hours, and what it's mostly about. What it's about is waiting to get a cab, basically. So this is one of the ones that's sort of more of the inner workings of the cab life kind of thing. So here I go. 18 hours. 2:42 a.m. I arrive at the garage, look at the waiting list for cabs, put in my chauffeur's number. It's 5th on the list. I settle in with my back against the Miss Pac-Man machine and started drawing. 4:08 a.m. The drawing's done, but after a smoke break and some aimless ambling to and fro. Other drivers take turns sauntering up to the list, scanning hopefully for some progress, though the cashier hasn't laid a hand on it yet. The empty time inspires a kind of magical thinking, where it's possible to convince ourselves that subtle signs, invisible to others, have significance. 5:02 a.m. The whole time, every few minutes, drivers come in and stride purposefully toward the window. We all zero in, searching for the meter in hand. This would mean he might be dropping his car, thereby paving the path for our release. The ones who do turn in meters are all putting their cabs in the service line, meaning that they have breakdowns and their names will be put at the front of the waiting list, ahead of us. 5:47 a.m. The overnight skeleton crew washes, waxes, buffs, and otherwise attends to the half-dozen cars headed for city inspection in the morning. If they pass, there's a chance that they may be dispatched, though the prospect is hours away at best. It's something to hold on to, a wisp of a chance to make the time feel worthwhile. 6 a.m. A flurry of activity. The morning garage crew comes in, followed by the morning manager and the boss, who casts his jaundiced eye around the place before disappearing into the office. The lifts and other machinery spring to life to provide a soundtrack of grinding, hissing violence that tests our fraying, taciturn dispositions. 3 cabs are assigned, though with all the accumulated breakdowns, the list is now longer than it was 3 hours ago. 7:53 a.m. A walk outside reveals the high, merciless sun, which feels no sympathy for those of us who've endured this sleepless night. The overnight cashier is relieved by 3 morning ones. All windows now ready to receive lease money and endure complaints and hard luck stories. Those who protest vociferously enough are directed around the corner, through the manager's office door, where their concerns are mostly ridiculed and ignored, before they're dismissed and sent on their way. Periodically, one or another approaches to ask how long the wait has been, to sympathize or share their own troubles, making it all the more excruciating because the best we can do here is cast our minds elsewhere, to have an imaginary reprieve. 11:01 a.m. Lunch break for the day shift. The Roach coach pulls in to dispense coffee, candy, pop, tacos, and a Cuban sandwich so ancient it may have predated the Castro regime. The waiting room table, previously cluttered with half-read newspapers, books, and crossed arms of nappers, is now further littered with wrappers, crumbs, and empty Coke cans. A man with a work shirt monogrammed with the name Jose pushes piles of dust and detritus around with an old broom before collecting it into a dustpan and dragging it gradually toward the dumpster. 1:33 p.m. ID numbers are called out, inspiring a rush toward the window. Whether the numbers match our own or not, with the cashier telling the stragglers to sit back down. Those not present when their turn is called are crossed off the list. Those just arriving, informed that no more will be taken this day. Some loiter around anyway, chewing the fat with their buddies or playing half-hearted games of pool, punctuated by loud disputes about the true rules of the game. When the list is taken down, we brace anxiously for some bit of progress, studying the worn sheet of crossed out and newly added digits as it's returned to its place next to the row of cashier's windows. 3:53 p.m. My attempt to purchase munchos from the vending machine is temporarily thwarted as the bag lodges horizontally aloft above the door slot, refusing to drop any further. Banging and shaking doesn't do a thing. Neither does the purchase of bacon and cheddar potato skins, bought in the hope of jarring it loose with their own fall. Another driver saves the day by getting his own munchos. Problem solved, he states proudly. I smoke the last of my American spirits in the unshaded glare of the afternoon. Trips to the washroom to throw water at my face only serve to emphasize the extent of sleep deprivation. 6:30 p.m. The office is now darkened, the higher-ups' day done, but the parade of payers rarely slackens. They jostle each other, feigning outrage as they squeeze toward the slots that relieve them of their earnings. I've tried every possible place to sit, lean, or slump over. What's left, more often than not, is a dazed and wavering stance with eyes unfocused, a zombie-like existence that feels as if it has neither beginning nor end. 8:37 p.m. A beckoning finger draws me toward the window, followed by the clink of a car key hitting the metal basin of the slot. With the fee for the remaining hours of the evening collected, I'm free to go forth and seek my fortune. 18 hours at the garage, 33 since I last slept. Lucky not to have driven into a light pole on my way home. Dead to the world before the head hits the pillow. Okay, so that's one thing.